Is not believing anything a religion? It sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? The idea that rejecting belief itself could somehow become its own belief system. But this question goes deeper than wordplay. It touches on how humans think, organize meaning, and search for certainty in a world that constantly changes. Throughout history, belief has been the backbone of civilizations. Whether in gods, moral codes, or scientific laws, humans have always gathered around shared ideas to make sense of existence. But as societies evolved and the dominance of religion declined in parts of the world, a new form of thinking emerged, one that doesn't worship gods or texts, but reason, doubt, and skepticism itself. And that raises an interesting problem. Can the rejection of belief become a belief in its own right? Some people call atheism or agnosticism a religion. That's not quite accurate, but it reveals how deeply the human mind needs structure. When someone claims to believe in nothing, they're still making a statement about what they think is true. They may not have rituals or temples, but they often share communities, language, and principles that function a lot like traditional faiths, just inverted. Think about it. Science enthusiasts who treat certain theories as sacred, rationalists who see logic as salvation, or minimalists who define virtue through rejection. There's no priesthood here, but there's a kind of creed, an implicit confidence in reason, evidence, and individual thought as the ultimate authority. That's not to say skepticism is bad. It's one of humanity's greatest tools. It challenges dogma, exposes deception, and fuels progress. But even skepticism can harden into dogma when it stops questioning itself. When disbelief becomes absolute, when someone is so certain that nothing can be believed, it starts resembling the very thing it opposes. Faith without self-doubt. The irony is that true skepticism doesn't close doors, it keeps them open. But when disbelief becomes identity, the openness disappears. Philosophers have wrestled with this for centuries. Friedrich Nietzsche once declared that God is dead, but what he meant wasn't triumph, it was warning. He saw that when people lost faith in religion, they wouldn't automatically become free thinkers. Instead, they'd fill that void with new idols: nationalism, ideology, science, money, or the self. In other words, humans may abandon gods, but rarely the instinct to believe. Even nihilism, the belief that life has no inherent meaning, becomes a kind of belief. A bleak one, but still a framework that defines how someone views reality. Psychologically, humans crave stability. Beliefs give us that. Even disbelief provides identity, something to stand on when everything else feels uncertain. If you tell someone you believe in nothing, you're still defining yourself by that stance. You've taken a position, and that position shapes how you see everything else. And when enough people share that position, it becomes culture. That's why modern secularism can sometimes resemble a religion in its behavior. Online debates over truth, moral outrage at ideological dissent, and an almost evangelical passion for reason and evidence. The symbols have changed, but the psychology hasn't. Consider how science, for example, is often treated. True science is a method, not a belief. It's about testing, falsifying, and revising ideas, but many people follow science not as a method, but as a belief system that must never be questioned. That's not science, that's scientism. It turns curiosity into orthodoxy. The same can happen with political ideologies, self-help movements, even technology. The human need for certainty keeps reshaping itself into new forms of faith, whether we call it religion or not. The question then becomes, is it even possible to truly not believe in anything? Complete disbelief sounds liberating, but in practice it's almost impossible. Even refusing to believe implies trust in,